people, how are you? Welcome along to the channel. Please like, please subscribe. It's good to be with you on what is maybe the weirdest week for Sarina Wiegman's Lionesses. I find it strange. I find it juicy. I find it mental that this is all happening, but primarily we're here to speak about the squad announcement, which has just happened in the last few hours. Not many surprises in there, apart from the fact that Frank Kirby retired, Millie Bright's not going, and neither is Mary Earps. So here we are, Hannah Hampton, Kiara Keaton, Anna Moorhouse, the goalkeepers, which we all expected. Defenders, looking decent at the back. Definitely missing Millie Bright, Lucy Bronze, Lotta Wubben-Moy, Jess Carter, Neve Charles, Myla Tissy, Esme Morgan, Alex Greenwood, and Leah Williamson. Midfield. I think, honestly, if Rusha Littlejohn gets an English passport, she could get in there. Grace Clinton, Jess Park, Ella Toon, Georgia Stanley, Kira Walsh. 5 midfielders. It does seem that bit lighter, doesn't it? A little bit lighter. And in the forward line, I mean, just stunning. Lauren Hemp, Beth Mead, Lauren James, Chloe Kelly, Aggie Beaver-Jones, Michelle Ejimang, and Alicia Russo. That is Sarina's squad. Good to see Lotta Wubben-Moy in there. She's been brilliant for England, not just as the job that she does on the pitch. You know, it's more, I think, imagine people like that around you in the team are probably a really good thing as well, because we know she's not a regular starter. That would probably be frustrating in its own ways. But yeah, I mean, it's good to see her in there. And actually with Thingy not being there, Millie Bright, we actually thought that might obviously be the case as well. No other massive surprises, to be honest. Leanne Sanderson and I had been speaking about this on the build-up, and we thought that perhaps maybe Frank Kirby might have been that player. Why was Frank Kirby not there? I mean, it's a 23-player squad, 4 on standby. I would have expected Fran to be in about that because of the major tournament experience she brings. Okay, she wasn't at the World Cup, was she, due to injuries? But I thought Sarina Wiegman would have had her in that squad unless there is another sort of injury ongoing at the minute, and it wasn't going to be able to happen for her. So here we have it. We've spoken about it enough. I haven't touched on Millie Bright yet. Millie Bright not opting up to be in the Nations League camp there to protect her physical and mental well-being, which, can I say, I think is incredibly brave, you know, for a player in this day and age when, you know, you can be criticised for sometimes putting yourself first. For her to say that and to make it about and make it clear that she is exhausted, you know, she's mentally not there, her body's not there, you know, she cannot give that to the fans. You want to give the best version of yourself. I think, wow, fair play for being that brave. And also it must be breaking her heart at the same time, because I think Millie Bright is just... she's the one, isn't she, for England? She really is, and well, one of a few, but she's just such a big part of it. And I always remember that interview, was it Leah Williamson saying that when they went into Euros camp, back when they won it, her and Millie sitting together and saying, let's go and win this, you know, let's get everything so right that we win this tournament. She was a massive part, vice captain of the team, and I think will leave a massive hole completely in that defence line. Not only is she a massive presence, but communication-wise as well, and also she's a big player, club and country. And it makes you think about all the reasons, what's going on. I mean, is there something else that we're missing out on here? Is there something else happened in camp as to why Millie Bright now isn't available? I trust that it's completely mental and physical exhaustion. And each case for Mary, for Fran and Millie are so different. But the fact that it's all happened in the 1 week, okay, before the squad announcement, but the fact that it's all happened now, I think, is there something else going on there? You know, is there something going on in the Lioness camp? Is Sarina Wiegman seeing some journalism stories? Maybe perhaps has she lost the dressing room? Has the direct approach of Wiegman now not landed with some maybe players? Is she starting to turn over our squad? Is she now looking at the World Cup instead of the Euros and saying, right, who do I want starting for me at the World Cup? And that's why maybe the players of the age 30 and 31 are maybe then, not as present maybe in this camp. I don't know. I really don't know. It's fascinating though, I have to say, and you can let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. I think Mary Earps, you go back a week ago, has probably taken so much flack, has taken so much stick almost for making the decision for herself. Even if I think Mary had come out and said, I want to, mentally and physically put myself first in this situation because it's Hannah was then the starting keeper, it still would then seem the same. People would still go for it all the same. And she's come off social media. She's taken some her time. And I think, God, geez, you look at that picture of the Lioness squad, the ones that won the Euros, and it's just mad how different, the players that are missing. But for me, it's the big characters that are missing, the ones that, I suppose they're all big characters in themselves, to be fair, but, Rachel Daly, Millie Bright, Mary Earps, Ellen White, Jill Scott, Frank Kirby. It's wild that none of those players are there, only what seems like a short time ago that then they had won it. It's rather curious, isn't it? Rather curious. There's an article here saying losing her touch. Has Sarina Wiegman maybe, I don't know, is she upset people? Possibly. And they've gone, I'm not going to be part of that, and maybe I deserve better. You never know. I think this, playing for your country must be such an honour. And I was speaking to somebody who you will know about this morning, and I actually thought it was quite an interesting take that, in the past, you could never mentally opt out of a camp, because if you did, you would never be selected again. You just wouldn't say no ever, under no circumstances, to a call-up, because it would almost be then held against you. You wouldn't risk never being called up again. Whereas I think to see these players going, no, I have to look after number one for a moment and prioritise myself and make this decision for me. I think fair play, because God forbid I compared the two. Working quite closely with men's football, it's like players never get that opportunity, but then they're disregarded. I mean, you think about the Lionesses, you think about Steph Houghton. I think how she was treated by England, the way she was almost disposed of by Sarina Wiegman, was an absolute disgrace for everything that she'd done for her country. Now, then you quickly forget, I guess, because they go on and they win the Euros, and Leah Williamson becomes the face and the captain of the country, and she did a magnificent job. That you kind of quickly forget about that. But at the time, it did feel wrong. It did feel wrong, because then there's no loyalty in return. That's the thing that does bug me about football. And I look at people close to home, I look at people who I have relationships with, and you hear how you can be treated by your country, and you're expected that's to be a one-way street. It can't be two-way, because you play for your country, so you could be reduced feeling this size, and you have to just get on with it, because God forbid you put yourself first. That would be selfish. That would be toxic around other people. I think these three players have set, weirdly, a huge precedent moving forward, be it for the right or wrong. They have to put themselves first. It's them who are in camp. And if they're not in the right state of mind, God forbid they're in camp, they're having a bad tournament, it's rubbing off on the rest of the team. Whereas if they say, hold on a minute, I'm not in the right place, that opens the door to younger players coming through, who then go through their experiences of major tournament football and playing for their country. Football is it's actually, I'd say it's quite a harsh environment. If you're doing it right, you're getting paid well, you're idolised, you're looked after. But camp environments, I know, can be tough, can be very, very tough. And actually, you don't hear people talk about it enough. So when you look at the last week at what's happened with these three players, I think it's quite telling, the stress that people are put under. And you could argue, well, being under that stress, being under that mental and physical pressure is part of being an elite sport. It's part of being a top athlete. But you can't say that any of these players haven't done that, And then you get to a point maybe of your life, you go, I'm going to do what's right for me. you know. So hats off to them. You look at that squad, you look at the future of England. I think it's absolutely stunning. I really do. I'm on the verge of buying an England shirt at this moment in time. I'm joking. I'm not going to go that far, but you still have, you know, huge leaders, huge personalities in there. The likes of Beth Mead, who's an absolute favourite, Lucy Bronze, Leah Williamson, of course, Keira Walsh, Stanway, Chloe Kelly. It's a stacked squad. And then you look at Ejimang getting to this major tournament. I think it's brilliant because she could be the future number 9 of England for the World Cup. You know, she will probably massively heavily feature in that World Cup. It's absolutely lovely. The midfield, Grace Clinton, who's been tearing up trees really in the WSL, hasn't she? Young Maya Letizia in there as well, who for such a... You think back to her being captain of Man United and getting that captaincy. She was so, you know, young at the same time, but she just rises to the occasion. A number of these players do that. And it's a beautiful squad. How they got on without these particular characters is certainly something to focus on. And considering we've spoken about the group, the Netherlands, I think they have had a tricky time of late, and I think a lot of it will rely on Vivianne Miedema. I want the Netherlands, for me, could be finalists, you know, on their day. They're magic. They're magic to watch. The fans are unbelievable. The fans will be travelling that orange wall. England are second favourites to Spain to win the tournament. You cannot take that away from them. Even taking away the likes of Millie Bright and Mary Earps and Frank Kirby, they're still up there as second favourites to win. But how do you see the team gelling? How do you see them cracking on without these big presences in the squad? You can let me know your thoughts on that. You can like and subscribe. You can leave a comment and... you know, hopefully there's not another one. They say it comes in 3. So that is it. That is it, England players. Nobody else drop out, please. Thank you. I'll say that on behalf of all you England fans. See you soon.